friends and happy Sunday, welcome to a new video. So today we're going to be talking all about editing, which I think is kind of long awaited. I've had this video requested for quite a while. Like honestly, I was putting it off because I was like, what do I know? I don't know anything. But I thought the day has finally come, and hopefully this will be insightful if any of you guys are thinking of like making videos, starting a channel. But I also used to make videos and just keep them for myself, like when I'd go on holidays and stuff. I would make videos a lot of the time and then just edit them and keep them for me to keep as a little memory. So even if you're not thinking of starting a channel but just want to get into editing, hopefully I can give you some tips. I'm going to be talking all about the software I use, the equipment I have, the like fonts I like, filters I use, exactly how I like make the video look a certain way. In this video I'm not going to go into specifics of how to like cut the video, and like I'm not going to do an in-depth tutorial of how iMovie or Final Cut Pro work, just because I feel like it's not very productive and there are so many amazing videos out there already. I watched one when I first started making videos which helped me a lot and had a lot of really helpful tips, and I will link that one below. But if you just search like iMovie or whatever software tutorials, I think those will probably be better than anything I can tell you. So firstly I just want to talk a little bit about how I got started and why. So I first uploaded a YouTube video in 2016 and I was so scared. I wanted to make videos for ages and I was like, this is it, I'm just gonna do it. I think I made I made like 3 or 4 videos. I did like what's on my iPhone. I think I did like a makeup tutorial or something, and yeah, they weren't the best videos. That was kind of like in the summer, and then in September I was starting at a new school. I was like, this is too embarrassing, I can't do it. I do not want to get mocked at school. And I also want to say, like, you shouldn't care what anybody thinks, and if people aren't like, you know, supporting you, then you don't really need them in your life anyway. But I just felt like I couldn't cope with the stress of having a YouTube channel in school, so I deleted all the videos and left it. And then 2 years later I finished school, I started my YouTube channel properly. My first video is like a get ready with me and a chit chat, and then there's like vlogs, and it's basically just documenting like me at university ever since then. So that's kind of how I got into it. I'd always wanted to do videos ever since I just watched other people's a lot, and because I made those little holiday videos I felt like I just really enjoyed editing and like putting it all together. So it was really exciting to me, and that's why I got started. I honestly did not think it would go anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about equipment. When I first started my channel I was using my iPhone to film, and I used that for a year and a half. I really would say if you have a phone that has a decent camera, use that at the beginning. There's no point like investing in equipment. I would have had to like, you know, spend all my savings to buy a camera, and it just wasn't worth it to me, because the phone is great. I feel like it isn't that bad. The issue for me was that the sound wasn't amazing. So I used my iPhone X for the first year and a half, and then I ended up asking for a camera for Christmas, and the one that I have is the G7X Mark III. I really like it. I think most people who like vlog have it. I think it's like a nice little camera. It's very easy to use and just simple. I do think the Mark III has some like autofocus issues as opposed to the Mark II, but I do think I think it's really great, and it doesn't really bother me because I don't film videos where that's like an issue really. And then in terms of editing, right now I edit on Final Cut Pro, which is a software you can download to Apple devices, I think only. I bought that in the summer just gone, so I was already making videos for 2 full years before I bought that. And I'd even like gotten 100,000 subscribers, and yeah, I'm just saying this because I feel like maybe sometimes think that you need all this fancy equipment, and like I used my phone and iMovie for like almost 2 years, and it really isn't that big of a deal. So yeah, Final Cut Pro costs £300, which is quite steep. There are other things out there like Adobe stuff as well, or Premiere Pro or something like that, which you pay a subscription. So I do think paying the £300 upfront is like a lot cheaper. And at that point I'd been making videos for 2 years, so I kind of knew that I was gonna be using it. I didn't want to buy it like right at the start because I was scared that maybe 6 months goes by and then I can't be bothered anymore. So I just really wanted to make sure I was committed before I invested. So before that I was using iMovie, which just came on the laptop I have. If you have an Apple laptop you can get it. It's free, or it's already on the laptop. I think, I'm not sure about like the Android non-Apple laptop world, but I'm sure there are other softwares that maybe come with the laptop as well. iMovie I think is really, really good. You can make some amazing videos with it. I'll link some of my videos or put them on the screen, some videos that I did fully edited on iMovie. So my Come Through With Me in London is one of my favourite videos I've ever made, and it was edited on iMovie. Really, you don't need like fancy stuff. I would say it's not very user friendly. Like if you want to do cool things, it's going to take you quite a while. It's just a bit slower, and for example, I was using a lot of other apps and other things at the time, which I'm going to get into, but I was using those to kind of supplement for the fact that iMovie didn't have any cool effects or just wasn't that amazing. Whereas now it is a lot faster for me because I have Final Cut Pro and it just has a lot of like cooler features on it. In terms of the laptop, I have the one I had up until this Christmas just gone was a 2015 MacBook, but I kind of used it until I could. It was like very, very slow and breaking, and it was just like a very frustrating laptop. It didn't like save things very well. So I ended up buying a new one, and now I have a 2020 MacBook Pro. But again, if you have like access to like your parents' laptops or friends or something, I'd definitely give it a go. You can also get iMovie on your phone. I've never personally used that, but I'd definitely try it out, especially if you're just doing like really simple editing. I think there's a lot of actually like what I guess is more in style these days is very simple but nice editing. I think it's more about like the composition of the clips and like the actual filming, and I'll get into this, but like filtering the clips and like just making the actual image really nice, as opposed to adding loads and loads of text like effects and stuff. Obviously that stuff is fun and I do like it sometimes, but for the most part I think if you film a good video it doesn't matter too much what you've edited on. Recently I also bought this hard drive. These guys are so expensive. I think this was like £60, £80 just to store old footage on. Up until Christmas I have none of my videos or footage saved anywhere. It's just on YouTube and nowhere else because of my shitty laptop. So I bought this just to save on like raw footage and keep some clips, like if I'm filming something with a friend. I just thought it'd be nice to keep that for myself, so I have that. I also have this microphone. I will use this in voiceovers sometimes and I really like it. It's on the cheaper side for a microphone, but obviously they're all expensive. I think it's like £100, and this is the Blue Yeti microphone. I originally bought it for podcasting, but I will use it for voiceovers as well, and it works really nicely, and I think it sounds a lot crisper. However, I do listen to plenty of people's podcasts who record on their phone and it sounds fine, so I definitely wouldn't recommend like investing in one of these right at the start. My theory was always like there's no point investing in equipment I don't know how to use. Like I didn't want to buy Final Cut Pro until I felt like I'd really made the most of iMovie, because I just knew that I was going to get Final Cut Pro and be like, what do I even do with all this? So on to the actual editing of the video. So I've just written down like some tips and tricks, techniques that I like, that I think make the videos look decent. So I've already spoken about the software. I will talk about like iMovie and Final Cut in this video. The first thing I'll do is film my videos, obviously that makes sense, and I'll film on the camera, or I used to film my phone, and then I personally import all the footage from my camera onto my phone. It depends, you don't have to do that. The way I like to filter the videos is on my phone, so I have to do it that way. And I've also had a few questions about how I don't lose like clarity and the videos still have like a decent resolution. I don't know, it just seems to work out for me. So I will import all the footage to my phone, which takes ages. I will use vsco to filter them. Now this is definitely the least professional way of doing this. I can guarantee you none of the big people are doing this. Like it's kind of slow. It's definitely not very professional, and again I think maybe you lose some of your resolution when you do it, but I don't tend to notice that it looks like any different, so I'm fine with it. I like C1, C2, C3, C7. Those ones I used to use a lot like a year ago, and then at the moment I'm really liking, I think it's KC something or other. It's like a film effect, and then I will also warm it up, turn the tint to a little bit greener, and turn down the contrast a little bit, just because that gives a more film video effect. And I'm not trying to like make it look like my videos are filmed on film, but I think that the colouring looks really nice. And I will say this does wonders. Like it takes a lot of time for me personally. I know there are better ways of doing it, but this is just the way I like, and I'm just stuck in my habits. I do think it's so worth it to in some way colour grade your videos. I think it takes it from like a 5 to a 10. It genuinely makes such a difference. You can really see videos that haven't been color graded. I personally, like when I'm watching, I can really tell. And for some videos it doesn't matter, and like some styles of YouTube, like if you're just like doing chatty videos and like very simple, but if you're going for more something a little bit more cinematic, I do think color grading is pretty important, and I just think it has like a really big effect on the whole video. VSCO costs, if you want to filter videos, you have to pay for it. It's like £18 a year. Is actually like a very decent deal. If you think about it per month, like it really isn't that much. I know that you can also use lotsa. I watched Claudia Saluski's video about editing. She shared a site where you can download like free lotsa, which are, I believe it's kind of like a filter, like you save it to your laptop and then you can like apply it to the clips, which would probably be quicker. I tried it on my old laptop, and because my laptop was so old it wasn't like compatible, and I just haven't retried it since, but I will link her video below because she had amazing tips as well. Okay, I also like using the Tezza app. So Tezza is like an Instagrammer, creator, artist. She's amazing. If you don't follow her on Instagram, like definitely do. She's so cool. And she has an app, £2.50 a month, which is quite a lot for a subscription. But I do think it's really good. You can get a free trial, I think, if you want to like try it out. That is also where I edit all my Instagram pictures on there. So she has loads of filters. You can also filter videos if you want to. I've never really done that. And she has these border effects, which are film effects. So if you're editing an iMovie, you can take your like video that you've taken from your camera, put it on there and have like a film effect, and then upload it to iMovie without needing any like fancy software. What I do is I have like a stock, like a video of a white screen with the film effect around the edge, and then I will just load that into Final Cut Pro and mask it in a way that the white bit disappears and you're left with just the film effect and then me in the middle. So yeah, I really like using both those apps. I think you can get kind of decent effects with them. I also like the app Unfold. You can have cool film effects, film borders and stuff on there as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the fonts that I use. This is surprisingly commented like pretty often. So I think fonts are a big part of YouTube. Like it can set the tone for your video. So I'm going to put a few on the screen that I really like. I don't know all the names off by heart. I like Hoffler, Wonderland, Acid something. I don't know all the names, I'll have them on the screen. I like doing the thing where you have the outline and then the middle bit is clear, just because you can see the video a bit nicer. I like the shadows. I think text is just fun time. So a lot of those texts are on iMovie or on Final Cut Pro already, but I like the site Dafont, DA font, and they have everything in categories. I really like the like retro category, and you can just look at like cool fonts on there and just download them straight to your laptop and then use them for videos. And they have loads, like literally thousands of fonts on there to choose from. And then aside from the filters I use on VSCO, I do like a couple of the effects on Final Cut. So the circle wipe, I feel like everyone uses this. It's just like a kind of like a film effect type thing. And then I also like the effect Prism, which kind of overlays the clip and gives it like a rainbowy effect, and again just kind of looks like film. I like turning that one down and just making it a lot more subtle. I think that's a big thing about editing, is that things that are subtle tend to look better. You don't necessarily want like maxed out filters on all your clips. I definitely used to do that. I think a subtle effect goes a long way. Another app that I use for text is Procreate. So you can handwrite things. I do it on my phone. If I had like a iPad and Apple Pencil, that would be great. If you have like access to those, that would be really good. So you basically, it's just like a blank sheet, you can write whatever you want. I try and make my handwriting decent, and then if you save it, like make the background transparent and save it as a PNG. I normally just like iMessage them to myself. I assume you could also like airdrop them or whatever, and then I drag it onto the video, and it just would have the text over the top without any background, so you can still see the video in the back. That's really fun. You can play around with like the colors and the different pencil types. The one that I usually use is, I think it's 6B. If not, I will put on the screen whatever it is. And yeah, you can just play around with it a lot. If you want to make it into kind of like a little GIF, you can write the same text twice. So like for example, you write hello and then put on a new layer and you write hello again, and then you can either save it as a GIF, or you can one layer and then save the other layer, and then on Final Cut just put them next to each other, if that makes sense. So it changes from like, goes kind of like that. That's like really not that hard to do, and that gives you kind of like an animated look. A lot of people use that, especially with like, you can also draw your own borders, you could draw little doodles. I love doing this, and if I had like more time, if I wasn't like a struggling student, then I would definitely do more of that. I think it's really fun, and it does add like quite an artistic flair and uniqueness to your video. So I really like it. I would do it more if I had time. I also like using Procreate to make my thumbnails. Thumbnails are a huge part of your video. Nobody is going to click on something that looks like isn't enticing. I do think that once they're in, you need a good video, otherwise people aren't going to watch to the end, and then YouTube doesn't like push it to as many people. But a thumbnail will really make or break your video. There's no point making an amazingly edited video and then having a rubbish thumbnail, unless obviously you're just making it for yourself. But yeah, thumbnails are really important. So I try to normally do like a collage type thing of lots of different images, show as much as possible what you're going to get in the video. I want to like sell it to people. Like if I'm making pizza, for example, I want to like show you in the thumbnail that I'm making it. So obviously the title of the video is pretty short, so you can't really describe everything you're going to be doing. So I try and get as much as I can into the thumbnail without making it too cluttered, because you still want it to look like visually appealing. And I like using Procreate to draw around like multiple images and stitch them all together to make a big collage type thing for the thumbnail. And then I use the app Fonto normally for text, and again I download the text from Dafont or just use the fonts that they have. That seems to work really well. You can also just handwrite the text on Procreate, but I do try to be like really careful with that because you want the text to be quite eye-grabbing, and sometimes when you handwrite things it's not as clear. So onto music, I have a few artists that I really like. You can subscribe to sites where you like pay them to allow you to use their music copyright free. I don't personally do it because I don't like having subscriptions and having like money coming out my account all the time. I just don't really want to, and I found a few artists that I really like. Hopefully none of them decide to copyright their stuff. So Crystal Casino are amazing. They have a really cool kind of like indie rock vibe music. Lucrembo has really cool like instrumental type lo-fi music, and Trees and Lucy are another one of my favorites. They have also very simple music. I don't think music really, like in my videos personally, isn't like the whole video. I try and leave in like the sound of the actual clip as well, because I just think it's like kind of nice. Again, obviously there's like a decent amount of like montagey stuff where I'm not talking, and you want something nice for people to listen to. So I like those artists. Again, there's not really any easy way of getting around the copyright issue unless you want to pay for subscription. I think Epidemic Sounds is the one a lot of people use. And then I've written down a few just random extra tips or things that I like to do to add editing. So sometimes I do the thing where I have two clips, both at, someone's at the door. So I will have two clips and both of them at 50% opacity, and then you can kind of see like both the movements, but obviously the background stays the same. So it appears like you can see like two people walking. I think that looks kind of cool. Although it's a bit trippy. I feel like I do get the occasional comment saying they don't like that. So sometimes I think it's nice to like voice over a clip, like if I'm cleaning or cooking or something, a little voiceover. Voice overlaying clips. So for example, if I'm doing my makeup, for example, and I'm like saying something and then I start like blending and then overlay a clip of me talking underneath, so you can see me blending but talking, if that makes sense. So you see the blending but you hear the talking, and it just like, I think it's really important to like show what you're doing as well as saying it. And then I also cut up the clips to the music, so I will load all the clips into Final Cut and put in the music and then cut so that it like fits the music. For example, if the music has like a drop or like changes pace, I like the clips to also change pace at the same time if I can. Obviously it doesn't always work. I also wrote just adding text and drawings. I think adds a little bit more interest, and as a viewer, because I watch a lot of YouTube as well, I think video with like a lot of components for you to look at, like so someone's talking, there was also like the whole clip to look at, and then they've like drawn a little picture and did a little bit of text captioning it. Then you're like, wow, there's like so much for you to see, and you're just a bit more engaged. I've just written a little bit about like having a YouTube channel and like finding your type of content. I think people say there's like a pressure to find your niche and like do something that nobody else is doing, and I just feel like your niche can be you. If you want to like make videos about a certain topic, then go for it. I will say, like, if you copy somebody else's videos, or you like take, I don't know, if you just make it too much, like you just want to be exactly like them, it as a viewer, it's kind of like, why am I going to watch you when I already watch them? Like, they're already doing that really well. So there's, I think, so much more value in doing something unique that is yourself. And obviously it's hard to come up with that because there's so many people making YouTube videos, and obviously things coming out like in trend and stuff, and it's like so fine, I think, to just do the trends. But yeah, trying to come up with something that maybe is your own idea and things that you like to do your specific way, I think is good. I wrote down tips for growth. I like I don't even know what my tips are. I am sat here like, how on earth do I have this many subscribers? I think posting consistently and showing the passion for your videos like through the screen. People like watching people talk about things they're passionate about, regardless of if they're actually interested in the topic. Yeah, talk about things you're interested in and show people that you care, like show people that you're interested. If you go into it like wanting to have like X subscribers, it probably is gonna show through in your videos. So I think show that you actually want to make them. Yeah, that's kind of everything that I have written down. Hopefully that was interesting or helpful, and happy YouTubing. If you have a channel, leave it below. I'd love to like have a little look, or if you're thinking of starting one, then let me know if you do, because that's so exciting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and enjoyable. I don't know, I wanted to make this video for a long time. I didn't know exactly how to do it, so hopefully this has lived up to any expectation you had. And yeah, I will see you next Sunday. Have a great week. I love you lots.